This is my first video, and I'm already making myself look like a 5-year-old child who likes stuffed animals and cute shit. Hello friends, my name is Leanne, and welcome to my first beauty video on YouTube. Today I filmed the Get Ready With Me, and this is the final look. If you're interested in seeing how I created this and what products I've been using recently, and I also talk a little bit about starting doing beauty on YouTube and what that means to me. So stick around and get ready with me. We're gonna start this Get Ready With Me with a bit of Smashbox primerizer. It's supposed to be a primer plus moisturizer. I really like this because it's just very smooth and hydrating feeling. I just want it to look very dewy and hydrated and glowy. Next up, I'm gonna use this 3CE Style Nanda Back to Baby. This is the Glow Beam in the white shade. So I apply this on the high points of my cheeks and basically where you would put a highlighter. It's this very it's kind of oily, so if you don't like greasy feeling products on your skin, you probably won't like this, but it gives this very beautiful that Korean glass skin look. Now I'm going in with this cushion. This is the Naked Face Water King cover cushion. I've had this for maybe honestly too long now. It's probably kind of gross and it's almost running out. I don't use cushions a ton, and so this is the only cushion that I own right now. I really liked it when I first got it, but as I've used it, I've come to find that I don't love the way the cushion itself applies on the skin. And as you can see, I don't even have the cushion here anymore. I've swapped it out a couple of times. Once the original one got really icky, I started using a Misha one. And I don't know if it's because I used a different sponge. It felt a bit thick and heavy going on, which was not how it was initially. But then I tried out using a beauty blender with it and just sticking it straight in like that. It's almost at the end, so I really have to get in there to squeeze out the product. But when I have it on my beauty blender and my beauty blender is wet, it feels so much better applied. It feels like it blends in more smoothly, and I get more even distribution, and I don't get that chalky heavy cakiness. But yeah, this cushion is quite glowy. When I first bought it, I expected it to be glowier, to be completely honest. I bought it because Edward Avila, he was saying that this was super glowy and super chok, which is Korean for wet or moist. I was super excited and I got this. And I like it, but what really gives me that glass glow skin was that 3CE Back to Baby Glow Beam, like I mentioned. I'm always just trying to make my face look more and more glowy and more dewy. I don't know how a ton of Korean girls do it, and I keep trying to replicate it, but that super translucent, transparent look, that's what I'm really trying to go for. And sometimes that means lightening my base by one shade. Made up my mind to start trying to make these videos. It's really just a testing phase right now, and as it goes along, we'll see what happens. This is completely a side for fun hobby thing. Because I work as a freelancer, I have sometimes pockets of time where I'm I don't know what to do with myself, and I've always wanted to film beauty videos, but I always felt oh, I don't have anything to really showcase. I don't have a ton of money to buy all these products to test out and show people. And so it's really taken many years for me to accumulate the stuff that I've liked. For me, maybe because I haven't gone through that many products yet, I've bought a lot of things throughout the years, but I've given a lot of it away. Next up, I'm using this It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye concealer. It's supposed to be full coverage, anti-aging, waterproof. Full coverage, anything usually really scares me, but I just use the tiniest amount of this as like a brightening concealer under my eyes, and like sometimes if I'm feeling extra, like do the whole like more contour thing where I put it down the center of my nose and on the center of my chin. So I've just put a little tiny amount on my hand here, and I'm using the tip of my beauty blender to pick that up, and I'm just gonna dot it under the eye and really take my time to blend that out. But yeah, the reason why I finally decided to actually do this was almost kind of a like, screw it. I've wanted to do this for so long. What's the worst that could happen? Maybe wasting a little bit of my time, but you know, I kind of have a little bit of time to waste, and it's kind of fun. And so yeah, okay, I've blended in my concealer under my eyes and in the middle of my nose. I think that's all I'm gonna do with that concealer. I actually really like the coverage. Next up, I am going to move on to a second concealer. This concealer is the Glossier Stretch Concealer. I know a lot of you probably have heard about it. It's super popular. I only recently, in the past year, started trying out Glossier things. I used to think that the super minimal makeup thing wasn't for me, and it wasn't for me. A couple years ago, I was in a very different stage and phase of my makeup where I was doing very full, colorful eyeshadow looks every day with lashes. It was when my eyes started getting really sensitive and I started developing these reactions and got really itchy. So like I had to abandon that whole really heavy makeup philosophy every day because it would just hurt and I had to take it off, and I think the makeup was aggravating it too. So anyways, I should put this concealer on. Because of how creamy it is, I just love using it. And sometimes I do stick my finger in there and just pat it on, but since I'm using my beauty blender, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a bit on there. I have like some veinage, and I do like to just go ahead and add a little bit of extra coverage on there, just to sort of cover up that discoloration. I am going to move on to my eyebrows. I've been really futzing around with my eyebrow routine recently. I've been through phases of powder, of Anastasia pomade, which I really like, to super low maintenance brows where I just put a brow gel through it. But now I'm back to pencil. I have realized I want to sculpt out my brows a little bit more. The hairs grow very fast and they're very long. I don't have sparse brows by any means, but I feel like they're always just super misshapen, and I don't actually go and get them done very often. But yeah, I sort of just try to shape them a little bit more with the pencil. I'm sort of going back to a more, a bit of a more Korean style straight brow. And the thing that really frustrates me, and I'm sure frustrates a lot of people out there too, is that like my eyebrows just really don't match. The arches are not at the same place. My sister commented when I was home over Chinese New Year that this brow like seems to just go up and never comes down, and then this one has a nice arch. And so I'm like, okay, when I take pictures, I'm always just gonna take it on this side. And so I'm trying to go back to that whole, a little bit of the ombre brow, where I have a darker tail and sort of a lighter, more feathered like start of the brow. I forgot to say, this is the NYX micro brow pencil. And I really like this because I like brow pencils that don't give too much pigmentation, like it's not too creamy, because I like to slowly build it up. So I'm just brushing my brows through. Also, I usually need to wear glasses or contacts because my prescription is pretty high. And right now, I am wearing neither, so this is fun. I cannot really see what I'm doing, and that's why I'm like really peeking into my mirror here. I used to wear contact lenses almost every day, but again, with those eye sensitivities that started coming up, wearing contacts made it worse because the itching was on the inside of my eyelids. And so having a foreign object in my eye probably didn't help it. But yeah, it makes makeup, especially eye makeup, a lot harder to do. Okay, I think I'm happy with my brows, but I'm gonna put some brow gel in because I like them to stay in place. And this is the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I've used this for a really long time, have never really bought it, I think. I honestly try out a lot of products through Sephora's rewards program, where I just get points and then I try all of these rewards out from the rewards bazaar, and it's great. I love it. I'm gonna move on to my cheeks, and this is something that I have really enjoyed doing recently. Over the past year, since I've not been able to play with eye makeup as much, I've resorted to doing more cheeks and lips things to make myself happy. And I really started playing a lot more with cream products, and I've really been enjoying trying out different cream blushes. It's just so fun, and the blendability of it and just how smooth and dewy it makes the cheeks look just make me so happy. I think that's something that's changed for me too, is that I don't just focus on like what the end product of my face looks like. I also want to enjoy the process of putting makeup on, and cream products have really like done that for me. So this is a new one. I literally bought it last week from this Asian beauty store in, I think in, I don't remember where it is now, but it's, if you live in Boston, it's somewhere near Allston. It's somewhere in Allston, but this store sells mostly Japanese products actually, and they had a lot of can make, and I've heard a lot about can make, but I've always been very afraid of can make eyeshadows and eyebrow powders just because they seem really chalky to me, but I didn't know that they also have cream products, and so I saw this in store, and it's a can make cream cheek, that's what it's called, and the color, so I do know a little bit of Japanese, but I need a bit of time to read what's on the back. So it says Can Make, which is the brand. Oh, it just literally says Can Make cream color in Japanese. I am an idiot. I thought I knew the color. I thought I was reading the color, but no, the color is just 17. It's this really nice like orangey brown terracotta color, and it's pretty cheap. It was like $7 or $8 or something like that. So I'm really happy with this purchase, and actually I'm gonna use it as sort of an all over face color and not just for my cheeks. Today I'm just gonna apply it with my finger. It's super creamy, like it feels so nice, like so buttery, but as a result you have to sort of be careful when you're applying it not to apply too much. So I want to just get it quite in the center of my cheek. I'm just patting this out with my fingers, blending it out. And so what I'm doing is like I have the color on my ring finger and I'm adding it, and then I'm blending it out with my middle finger with a clean finger so that I get to control the blending a little bit better. I always bounce back and forth, I feel like, between Asian makeup styles and Western makeup styles, as well as products, and I feel like I never really venture to one side more than the other. Whenever I try to recreate more like Korean style or Japanese style makeup, I always end up doing something that makes it look a bit more Western, a bit more American, because when I was like 15 and 16 and started watching beauty YouTube, I think most of the YouTubers were Caucasian white women. So I picked up all of my early basic techniques from them. And I feel like I've never been able to run from those roots per se. It was very hard trying to find tutorials or like examples to follow for my eye shape. I was like, yeah, blend it into the crease. It's like, I have no crease. It is non-existent. I have a monolid. So I'm quite happy with where my blush is looking, and what I'm going to do is continue on with this cream blush and just take it on my finger and actually apply it to my eyes. I forgot to put primer on. That is fine. We're going to skip primer today. So recently I also have just been caring less about sort of how long my makeup lasts. I've sort of adopted this mindset that if it stays on my face, it stays on, great, I'm happy about it. But if it doesn't and it smears off, I want it to leave my face in a nice, refreshing way. Like have it melt off in a very natural and seamless way. So I think cream products really help that. And I'm sort of just blending this out all over the lid, but I'm trying to concentrate more color closer to the lash line to sort of create that like a darker to lighter kind of gradient. There we go, gradient. And this is, I feel like, a very great technique for people who have monolids, in creating more depth, concentrating more darker color closer to the lash line, and then letting it fade to a more gentle wash of color as it rises. Yeah, actually I'm gonna go over on my eyes and do a little bit more, which is actually set it with some powder eyeshadow. The reason for that is because there are some cream shadows that I would just apply and leave as is and not try to set it with any powder, because I want that natural, like, creamy look. But this cream cheek blush is so super creamy, and I've tried this multiple times just using it on its own, that when I put mascara on, because of how oily my eyelids get, it'll just totally like smear all over my eyelids. So I'm trying to use some powder eyeshadow just to set it more in place, hopefully allowing my mascara to not smear as much. So I'm using this I'm Multi-Cube. The brand is iMimi. This is another Korean product. And I will link all the products in the description box below. But let me find my brushes. So I have this one Real Techniques brush here, which is the base shadow brush. I am putting some of the number 4 color, which is this reddish shade that has actually some like gold reflect, which is really, really pretty. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that, dust it off, because this is a little bit of a like powdery chalky eyeshadow, which I guess is perfect for setting my eyes, but I do want to dust off any fallout. And I'm just gonna very lightly pat that, I think, just on the like outer third-ish of my eye. I don't want to cover up all of it, because then what was the point of putting on that original cream shadow to begin with, right? So I'm gonna go back in with a little bit more, and so it also just creates a little bit more of a dimension to it when it's not like an all over one color. And I'm just blending it out. I think this brush is really great for application, but also it's fluffy enough to blend once you like get rid of most of your product, to then gently blend it out. This is something that I've discovered over the years of doing makeup, is that sometimes the whole like going in messy with your fingers and stuff works, but if you have such little like space to work with, you kind of do want to do like tiny little strokes and take your time to just blend it out. And for funsies, I am going to stick my finger into the number 2 color, which is this like very metallic rose goldy pale like light pink pearly color. I just said a lot of words to describe one color, which is probably like contradictory to each other, but you know what I mean. You can see it. It's a very pretty color. There, that one. So I'm gonna take it and put it on my inner corner. And trust me, when people say inner corner, I've always had a problem finding what my inner corner is and what works for me. And I've discovered that instead of putting it on like this part of my eye, I like to put it right where the curvature is. So it's actually not on my lid, and actually having a little bit just go like to the bottom part of my eye. I really like how that looks, but because of how uneven I think my two eyes are in terms of its shape, it doesn't always like land at the same place. So that's fun. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna finish up the eyes. These are an investment. I do admit that this is a lot of money for a pair of eyelash curlers, but as I've taken the time to sort of compile tools and compile stuff that actually really works for me, I found that this was so crucial to making my lashes actually look like they exist. So this is the Shiseido eyelash curlers. I heard that for Asian eyes, only the Shiseido and Shuimura ones work really well for the eye shape, and it fits on my eyes just so much better, and it hugs it and it doesn't hurt it. And also just like learning how to properly curl my lashes saved my life. That was very dramatic, but basically instead of just like going in and pressing on it once really hard, I have to go to like the base of my lashes, as close to the lash line as possible, and sort of like just pump it a couple times. And then if I really want to do it properly and make it look as curled as possible, move up a little bit, like halfway, and sort of continue pumping it. So you can actually see my lashes on this side now, even though there's no mascara. And on this side, you can barely see that I have any lashes at all, because my Asian lashes just stick straight down, and without curling them, putting mascara on is almost pointless. It's just gonna weigh my lashes down even more. The mascara that I use, the only mascara that I really like and seems to work for me, is a Japanese mascara, which is the Heroin Make Long and Curl mascara, and it's waterproof. I only want to use waterproof mascara, even if I try other ones, because of how much mascara always transfers on me. But this is honestly just like such a great mascara for, at least I feel, Asian eyelashes, because of the fact that it's not too wet and it doesn't weigh my lashes down. And my lashes are so tiny that if I have anything too like volumizing or clumpy, my lashes just fall straight down. And so I'm going in from as close to the lash line as possible and sort of like wiggling it up. I am good with mascara. It's just one coat. I do one coat. If I try to do 2 coats, it never works for me. Like, it feels like it's dry and crusty, and I'm trying to put more liquid onto something that's dry and crusty, and it never works. 1 coat is enough for me, and I'm happy with that. Moving on to bronzer slash contour. This is the RMS Beauty's Buriti bronzer. I don't know how you say that, but this is one of my 2 cream bronzers that I own. I really like this one because, again, it is very creamy, and for some interesting reason, I think when I went home to Malaysia, it may have melted a little bit in the heat, and it doesn't seem to have solidified even though I came back and it's now cold here in Boston. It stayed sort of that like very like soft creamy texture, which I don't hate. but this is a nice sort of in between cool and warm tones, so I sort of like this for bronzing and contouring. I don't usually love bronzing anyways, because that's just not my style to have like that whole sun-kissed warm look, but I don't mind a little bit of chiseling because my face is quite big. So this is a MAC 159 stippling brush, and I'm just gonna go in there a little bit. I should brush a little bit off on the back of my hand. I always forget to do that, and then I go in too harsh and I have to blend it out. I'm going to chisel somewhere about here, right underneath the blush. And this, I take it back all the way. I'm gonna put some there, just for a little bit of definition. I'm not trying to go really crazy. I don't ever really go very crazy with contouring anyways. Then I just want to make my face look a bit smaller. So I'm gonna put some on my jawline, and then a little bit on my forehead. Let me put some down the side of my nose, but I have to have a really light hand here, otherwise it'll look like there's poop on my face. Next, I'm gonna move on to highlight. So this is the Glossier Halo Scope. It is a cult favorite. A lot of people like this, a lot of people love this, and for a good reason, because it is so natural. There's no glitter in it at all. It's just this super creamy, nice, satiny effect highlight that I don't apply it directly to my face because I don't want to move my very dewy and malleable base and foundation around, but I always like sort of stick my finger in there, rub it around a little bit, and then tap it into my cheekbones. And it blends out so easily and smoothly without you rubbing in any way. I'm gonna put some on the bridge of my nose. On the tip of my nose, and then on the bridge of my nose. And then just a little bit. Cupid's bow. That's cute. And then some on my chin. I am going to powder my face down simply because of how much cream, liquid, and wet products I've put on my face. And I used to grow up thinking that I had obviously oily skin. That's definitely my skin type, no doubt about it. Because I would just be like sweating buckets and just have so much oil on my face. But I had to keep in mind, I was a teenager going through puberty with acne and troubled skin, and I was living in Malaysia. It's just hot all year round. It's just humid all year round. You are gonna sweat, you are gonna get oily. And I always used to combat that trying to put like mattifying products on my face. And it always just made it look worse when the oils from my face mixed in with the powder. It just was so chalky and streaky, and it caked up like nobody's business. And also the skincare products that I used to use were super like drying because I wanted to dry all the oil out. And I think that in reality my skin type is normal to maybe combination at most, but I treat it as if it is dry. And it really works, and apply like super hydrating products and cream makeup. And so I really don't powder my face very much anymore. But today I have put very, very, very dewy products on my face. All of them are very wet and malleable. So I do want to set it down a little bit with this Hourglass powder, which I love so much. It is the Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffused Light. This is one of my favorite powders because it does not look like there is a powder on your face. And I don't put too much, I say, as I am like swirling it deep into the pan. I do tap it off. It really does not mattify your face in any way. It doesn't really take away any glow or shine, but just putting a little bit of a powder on just makes me feel like my makeup is more likely to not slip completely off my face in an hour. And that's about it for the face. I am going to finish up with lips. What I'm gonna do is take this Nature Republic triple meringue tint in red brownie, and I'm gonna apply it sort of just more on the inner part to create an ombre effect. And I had the Laneige sleeping mask on before I started doing my makeup. So I'm just going in and putting it on the inner part of my lips. And then as I press my lips together, oops, that's a little boo-boo there. As I press my lips together, it just sort of smooths itself out. What I'm gonna do is take that same cream cheek blush that I used earlier from Can Make and just tap a little bit and apply on the outside to warm up this lip color and create more of an ombre. I love this so much. This Can Make product is just so great. It works on your lips, it works on your cheeks, it works on your eyes. What a multi-use product. I am going to finish it off with a setting spray. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter, which is such a classic setting spray. I do have a couple of others, but this is my go-to classic that I always have on hand. And do I always use way too much setting spray? Yes. Makes me feel like it's gonna stay longer. Okay, so this makeup is done. I am taking my little bunny ears out. I'm gonna put my glasses on just so that I can see what's happening, but this is the finished makeup look. This is what it looks like. I love the dewy glowiness of it, and I love the warm burnt shades that I am always using these days. Thank you so much for watching. If you have stuck all the way to the end of this, I congratulate you because I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a long video even after I finish editing it. If you like what you saw, like this video, comment if there are any products that interest you, if you use some of these and you like them too, or if you have any cream product recommendations, especially cream blushes. I'm always in the market for more cream blushes. Please leave your comments below. Like and subscribe if you liked what you saw, and I am very excited to start creating more videos and more beauty content. I have a lot of ideas on my mind, but if there is anything that you would like to see from me, please let me know as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.